Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to uncover a profound truth, one so powerful, so life altering, that it may shake the very foundations of what you believe to be possible. The result is for you to have permanent change in your life. Imagine this: you can manifest your desires so quickly, so effortlessly, that it feels almost supernatural. But this is no magic trick, it's the natural law of creation at work. Your imagination is not a fleeting daydream or a mere escape. It is the creative force. The power of imagination is not just a spiritual concept, nor is it a mere wishful thought. It is the very mechanism through which your reality is formed. The imagination is the starting point of all creation. When you close your eyes and vividly picture a scene, feeling its every detail as if it is real, you are actively creating. You are not simply daydreaming. You are not simply daydreaming. You are molding the future, aligning the inner world to match the outer world. Neville Goddard often spoke of this, urging us to recognize that what we imagine with deep feeling is not something that is separate from us or distant in time. It is real in the unseen realm, just as real as the physical world that we experience with our five senses. When you imagine a reality, whether it is wealth, love, success, or any other desire, you are not merely picturing an abstract concept. It is spiritual. You are calling it into being. The imagination, when fully engaged, is not a passive exercise. It becomes an active force, a magnetic power that pulls the desired outcome towards you. The great many people make is in thinking that the things they desire are out of reach or require effort to bring them into existence. But this belief is a misunderstanding of the true nature of creation. The universe is not withholding anything from you, nor does it require you to toil endlessly in the physical realm to make things happen. The key lies in understanding that your imagination is the blueprint, the template that dictates what will appear in your physical experience. So, by assuming the feeling of your desire as if it is already true, you set in motion a chain of events that will bring it into your reality. This concept is simple but powerful. Imagination is not something you do in your spare time. It is something you live in every moment. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, as Neville often advised, you do not wait for external circumstances to change first. You do not require any proof in the physical world to confirm that your desires are coming to fruition. Instead, you start with the assumption that it is already done. You immerse yourself in the feeling of having what you desire now, knowing that this state of mind will make it manifest. Why? The mind is a powerful tool, but it must be trained to work with you, not against you. Most people's minds are conditioned to focus on what is absent, on what is missing in their lives, and on the obstacles that stand in their way. But when you align yourself with the truth that all things exist in the mind first, and the outer world is merely a reflection, you can begin to consciously direct your thoughts toward the desired end result. The imagination does not know time. It does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. When you imagine something with great emotion, when you feel it with all your heart, you are living in the end, as Neville taught. You are stepping into that future reality and experiencing it as if it is happening now. And the more vividly you imagine it, the more real it becomes. Over time, this feeling, this assumption, will crystallize into physical reality. And the last thought, too often, people underestimate the speed at which this process can happen. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your reality begins to shift. Things that seem unrelated or coincidental will start to align. People will show up. Opportunities will emerge. The physical world must obey the laws of the mind. It cannot help but reflect the mental state that you persist in. When you begin to operate from the assumption that your desire is already manifested, the universe conspires to make it so. What might seem like a distant dream can materialize before your eyes with such speed that it feels almost frightening. But this rapid manifestation is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. It is the natural state of creation. If you have ever found yourself wondering why things sometimes happen so quickly and unexpectedly, why certain desires just seem to fall into your lap, this is the reason. When you align with the truth that your imagination is the force that shapes your reality, things happen faster than you can even comprehend. End quote. The more you feel and embody the end result in your mind, the faster the physical world catches up with your inner vision. This truth is liberating. It is empowering. Once you understand that your imagination is not just a tool for escape, but the very mechanism that creates your reality, you will never again underestimate its power. Every moment is an opportunity to focus on the desired end result, to imagine the life you want in vivid detail, and to feel the joy, excitement, and fulfillment as if it is happening now. That's it. It's as if it is happening now. In doing so, you activate the law of manifestation, and the universe has no choice but to bring it into your experience. The process is fast, it is certain, and it is yours to command. Understand this. Let your imagination run wild. Let it lead you to the life you've always dreamed of. The more vividly and consistently you dwell in that reality, the faster it will show up in your life. The universe is waiting for you to decide what you truly want. Once you do, the world will begin to mirror your imagination, and what once seemed impossible will suddenly feel inevitable. The new life will come as the result of your growth, and the imagination and what once seemed impossible will suddenly feel inevitable. Living in the end is one of the most powerful concepts in the teachings of Neville Goddard, and it is the key to manifesting your desires with precision and speed. The phrase living in the end refers to the act of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and mentally and emotionally inhabiting that state as though it is already a present reality. This is not a concept for occasional use or a quick fix for temporary desires. This is not a concept for occasional use or a quick fix for temporary desires. It is the fundamental law of creation that governs all manifestations, and once you understand it, you can use it to consciously shape every aspect of your life. To live in the end is to start with the assumption that what you desire is already yours. This is not a fleeting hope or a distant wish. It is a conviction, a knowing that the thing you long for is already a part of your experience. It means moving beyond the limitations of time and space and entering into the realm of imagination, where all things exist simultaneously. In the world of the mind, there is no delay. This is the ultimate. The moment you imagine something, it is as real as anything you experience with your physical senses. Hark to this. This is where many people go wrong in the process of manifestation. They look at the external world for signs. They wait for things to line up or for something to happen before they believe it is possible. But the secret, Neville would say, is to reverse this process. The outer world is a reflection of your inner state, not the other way around. The real work of creation happens within your mind first. The moment you imagine the end result with feeling, with intensity, and with belief, the universe must begin to rearrange itself to match that inner assumption. Living in the end is not about waiting for something to change externally before you feel a sense of accomplishment, peace, or joy. It is about stepping into that state now, regardless of what the external world shows you. For example, if you desire a new job, you don't wait for the job offer to feel confident, successful, or worthy. You assume those feelings right now. You assume you see yourself in that job working with excitement and ease, feeling the satisfaction of contributing to a meaningful purpose. The more vividly you can experience that scenario in your imagination, the more quickly it will appear in your physical world. The feeling of living in the end is the cornerstone of your manifestation practice. It's not enough to just think about what you want. You must feel the emotions associated with having it. The feeling is what activates the law of attraction. When you deeply feel that you already possess the desire in your mind, it sends out a vibrational signal to the universe that you are aligned with it, and this alignment creates the conditions for it to materialize in your life. This is the unseen but undeniable force that connects your inner world with your outer experiences. But living at the end goes beyond merely thinking about your desires. It is a state of being. It means mentally and emotionally living in the reality where your desires are already fulfilled. This requires a shift in perspective, a willingness to let go of the idea that something is missing from your life. The truth is, nothing is ever truly missing. It is only your belief that it is absent that keeps it out of your reach. When you change your belief, you change your reality. The feeling of having already achieved what you want transforms your perception of the world. And that transformation is mirrored back to you through external events. One of the challenges that many people face in living in the end is overcoming doubt. It is natural to question the process when the outer world does not immediately reflect the changes you are imagining. But this is where faith comes into play. Faith is the unwavering belief that the desire is already fulfilled, even if no physical evidence yet supports it. To live in the end is to trust the process fully, to believe in the power of your imagination, and to persist in your assumption that the desired outcome is already here, regardless of the evidence to the contrary. As you persist in this assumption, you strengthen the mental state that brings about the manifestation. When you live in the end, you also live without attachment to the outcome. You are not desperate for things to happen a certain way or at a particular time. Instead, you trust that everything is unfolding in its own perfect timing and that your desire will materialize in the most perfect form for you. This is an important aspect of living in the end, surrendering the need to control how or when your desire will appear and simply trusting that it is already yours. Like Fern Rauter describes it, by doing so, you allow space for the universe to work its magic and deliver the results in a way that may exceed your expectations. Living in the end does not require struggle or force. It is a natural flow, a state of being where you feel the joy of the fulfilled desire now. When you assume the end result with feeling, and when you live in that end state, you become a magnet for your desires. The process becomes easy and effortless. It becomes less about trying to make things happen and more about allowing the natural unfolding of the desires you have already assumed are yours. By living in the end, you align your inner world with your outer reality. What you believe, feel, and experience internally becomes the blueprint for what you will see externally. As you persist in this assumption, the outer world must shift to match your inner state. This is the law of manifestation at work, and it is a powerful, unshakable law that you can use to create anything you desire. So, step into the end result now. Feel it, live it, breathe it, and watch as your reality transforms before your very eyes. Faith in the invisible is the bedrock of all manifestation. It is the unwavering belief in the unseen, the unshaken confidence that what you cannot yet see with your eyes is just as real as what is visible. This is not a blind belief based on wishful thinking, nor is it a hope rooted in uncertainty. It is a deep inner knowing that the things you desire, though invisible to your physical senses, are already yours in the unseen world, waiting to be revealed in the physical world. Unwavering faith. Neville Goddard often spoke of the importance of faith in the invisible world, emphasizing that it is the unseen world of imagination and feeling that governs the seen world. The physical world as we perceive it is simply a reflection of the mental states we hold. The law of manifestation operates not based on what is physically present, but on what is held in the mind as true. The cliched expression, therefore, when you develop unwavering faith in the invisible, you begin to understand that what you imagine, what you feel, and what you assume in your inner world is far more significant than what is presented in your external reality. Many people fail to see the power of the unseen because they are conditioned to believe that the physical world is the only reality. They wait for something to happen in the material world before they believe their desires are possible, but this approach is backward. The key to manifestation lies in recognizing that the things you wish to create already exist in the realm of imagination. And it is through faith that you bring them into the realm of physical experience. Faith in the invisible means trusting that everything you desire is already present in the unseen world, just waiting to be made visible to you. When you have faith in the invisible, you cease to rely on external conditions or circumstances as a measure of your progress. Instead, you focus solely on your inner state. You begin to align your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with the end result, knowing that the outer world must inevitably reflect this inner alignment. For instance, if you wish to manifest a new job, your faith lies not in waiting for the job offer to appear, but in knowing that the job already exists for you in the realm of the unseen. You must assume that it is already done, that it is already yours, even when there is no physical evidence to support this. This kind of faith is not passive. It is an active and conscious choice to live as though your desires are already fulfilled. Faith in the invisible requires a shift in how you view the world and a deep trust in the creative power of your imagination. When you truly understand this principle, you begin to realize that your inner world is the most powerful tool you have. It is the canvas upon which you can paint your desires and the foundation from which your reality will be built. The invisible world is often more real than the physical one because it is the origin of everything. Before anything appears in the material world, it first exists in thought. This is why Neville emphasized the importance of living in the end. When you imagine your desires and feel them as though they are already true, you are drawing them out of the invisible realm and bringing them into the physical world. And faith in the invisible is the trust that this process is happening, whether or not you can see the results immediately. Many may question how this works, especially when there is no outward sign of progress. It is natural to doubt when nothing appears to change in the outer world, but this is where faith becomes crucial. Faith in the invisible means holding firm to the belief that your desire is already manifest, regardless of what the external circumstances show. It is the trust that the universe is already at work, rearranging itself to match your inner assumption. The process may be invisible to you in the beginning, but that does not mean it is not happening. Faith in the invisible also requires a surrendering of the need to control how or when your desire will manifest. Too often people focus on the how or when, and this can create unnecessary anxiety and resistance. Faith means releasing control and trusting the process. You trust that your desire is already on its way, even if you cannot yet see it. The more you cultivate this deep faith, the faster and more effortlessly your desires will manifest. When you begin to trust in the invisible, you start to experience life in a completely new way. You no longer feel at the mercy of external events because you know that you are the creator of your experience. You are no longer waiting for the world to show you something before you believe it. You are actively creating the world you wish to experience. With faith in the invisible, you become the master of your own reality, understanding that you can change your circumstances by simply changing your inner state. Faith in the invisible is ultimately the recognition that all things are possible, that nothing is out of reach, and that the unseen world is the real world, the world that determines everything you experience in the physical. When you have faith in this truth, you gain the power to manifest anything you desire. What you hold in your imagination, what you feel in your heart, and what you believe in your soul is just as real as the world you see with your eyes. The difference is that with faith, you bring the unseen into the seen. The more you cultivate this faith, the more rapidly and powerfully your desires will materialize. Persistence is a quality that lies at the very heart of manifestation, especially when it comes to the teachings of Neville Goddard. The process of manifestation is not something that happens through a single fleeting thought or wish. It is a sustained mental attitude, a continual alignment with the end result that causes your desires to take shape in the physical world. Persistence is the key that bridges the gap between the inner world of imagination and the outer world of experience. This collective is the refusal to give up, to let go of your assumptions, and to keep assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled no matter what the external circumstances may say. In Neville's teachings, persistence means holding on to your assumption with unshakable faith, even when there is no immediate evidence in the world around you that your desire is manifesting. The outer world is merely a reflection of your inner state, and it takes time for your inner assumptions to be reflected in your physical reality. This is where persistence plays a crucial role. The master observes, you may call him the present status. If you hold to the assumption that your desire is already filled, despite any delays or setbacks, you are steadfastly aligning yourself with the outcome you desire. You are molding your reality to conform to your inner vision. The challenge most people face is that they want immediate results. We live in a world that is used to instant gratification. Messages are sent and received instantly. Food is delivered in minutes, and answers are available with the click of a button. But manifestation is not bound by the same timelines. It operates according to the laws of the universe, which require patience, faith, and persistence. And just because something has not yet materialized in your life does not mean it is not already on its way. Persistence is the unwavering belief that your desire is already done, even when the outer world shows no signs of it yet. When you continue to live as if it has already happened, you send out a clear message to the universe that you are certain, and it must match your certainty. Neville taught that persistence is not about forcing or pushing your desire into being. It's about staying true to your inner assumption, regardless of what is happening on the outside. When you persist in assuming that your desire is already a reality, your thoughts, feelings, and actions will naturally begin to align with that assumption. Over time, this alignment will cause external circumstances to shift, people to show up, and events to unfold in a way that supports your desire. It's the universe's law. What you assume to be true, you will eventually see in the world around you. Persistence in manifestation also requires consistency. It's not enough to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled one day and then forget about it the next. To truly manifest, you must be consistently focused on your end result. Every day, every moment, you must choose to live in the end. You must choose to keep feeling the joy of already having what you desire, even when the external world doesn't show it. This consistency of thought, feeling, and belief builds momentum, and as you persist, you begin to see signs of progress that confirm the inner work you are doing is bearing fruit. Even when things seem to be moving slowly or not at all, your persistence will keep you on track toward your manifestation. It is also important to note that persistence in Neville's teachings is not about resisting or struggling against what is currently present in your life. It's about aligning with the end result in your imagination and living from that place. If your current circumstances don't reflect your desire, you don't need to fight against them. You simply need to shift your focus to the reality you want to create and persist in feeling that reality as though it is already true. The more you persist in this inner attitude, the more the outer circumstances will inevitably begin to conform. The key to persistence is trust. You must trust the process, knowing that the law of assumption works every time, no matter what. You must trust that your persistent thoughts, feelings, and assumptions will eventually yield results. Doubt can often creep in, especially when things don't happen as quickly as you might hope. But this is where your persistence is truly tested. When you feel doubt or impatience rising, remember that it is simply a sign to return to the end result, to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and to keep persisting in that state. Many people make the mistake of giving up too soon. They may assume their desire for a short period and then become discouraged when it doesn't appear right away. But persistence requires a deeper commitment. It's not about quick fixes or fast results. It's about the deep, unwavering belief that your desire is already done and that the universe is working behind the scenes to bring it to fruition. The more you persist in this belief, the more quickly the outer world will begin to align with your inner vision. Eventually, you will no longer need to consciously focus on your desire, as the inner state of having it will become your natural vibration. There, now static. He said, in the end, persistence is the most powerful tool you have in your manifestation practice. It is the unshakable belief that your desire is already yours, that it is already fulfilled in the unseen world, and that the outer world must inevitably reflect this. With persistence, your desires cannot help but materialize. The more you persist in the assumption of the end result, the more quickly and effortlessly it will appear in your life. The art of assumption is one of the most profound and empowering concepts in Neville Goddard's teachings. It is the key to unlocking the creative power of the mind and manifesting your desires with ease and speed. The idea behind assumption is simple yet powerful. Whatever you assume to be true with full conviction and feeling becomes your reality. You cannot confuse what you believe with what you feel and think with what you believe, because that is based on the reality and feeling of your thought. The assumption is not about waiting for external circumstances to align before you believe your desires are possible. It is about boldly assuming that what you want has already been realized and living as if that is the case. To assume means to take something as true without needing proof or validation from the outside world. It is a mental and emotional state in which you fully embrace the belief that your desire is already fulfilled. You do not wait for physical evidence to show up first. You begin with the assumption that your wish is already a reality in the unseen world and that it must eventually be reflected in the outer world. This is where many people get caught up in the process of manifestation. They look to the physical world for confirmation before they fully assume the state of their desire being already fulfilled. But in truth, the external world is simply a reflection of the inner world. The moment you assume the feeling of having what you want, the universe begins to shift to match that inner state.